Thank you for that beautiful intro. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's wonderful to, for the second week running now, see real three-dimensional people in this beautiful three-dimensional space. I am Rabbi Abby Phelps. I'm so excited to welcome you to Congregation Shereth Israel. I'm joined here by Cantor Toby Glaser, by our wonderful music director, Jonathan Dimmock, and also by somebody whom I believe our wonderful Cantor is going to introduce.
Yes, we have a very special guest this evening. This is Tali Rubenstein, who is with us from the Bay Area, and I've seen her play numerous times in various contexts. A really amazing musician, as you can already tell, and we're very blessed to have her here. She is studied at Ramon in Jerusalem, at Berkeley, and we're ambivalent about whether we've won a Grammy, but she has won a Grammy, and Jonathan has also won a Grammy, so we have 2 Grammy Award winners up here on the bima with us tonight, so very exciting, and please enjoy the service.
That is pretty exciting stuff. We have to go win Grammys now.
Exactly,
feel
yeah,
so
you've
awkward.
got to join the club.
I'm sure I can figure out a way to do that. As we prepare to start our service, we want to make sure that we get a chance to welcome everybody thoroughly, so I want to invite Mike Feldman to come on up and offer a greeting on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
So dangerous giving me a microphone. Welcome. My name is Mike Feldman, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome everyone to Shabbat services tonight, our second week in a row in person. This is super awesome. And I'd like to welcome Tali as well, and looking forward to a great service. So thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Well, we want to begin our service by lighting our Shabbat candles. I had hoped that we were going to have special guests who were going to do that this evening, who I imagine are just running a little bit behind schedule. It's Dorothy and Hal Auerbach's 69th wedding anniversary, which is pretty impressive. And I imagine they will be here.
Maybe
Ruth,
they can join us for Kiddush, perhaps?
Perhaps they can join us for Kiddush, but Ruth, would you mind being their emissary and lighting candles with us? That would be wonderful. Unless they're here and I've missed it.
Why don't we just share a little night, and then we'll light candles.
Let's do that. So the piece that you heard at the beginning, the beautiful music, was in fact a musical and a non-vocal rendition of Shir Adonai. So please join us for a version with vocals.
Shir Adonai, Shir Hadash. Shir Adonai, page 15, Haaretz. Shir Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Sabru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nefleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, U'mehulal me'od, Norahu al kol Shir Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sabru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nefleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, U'mehulal me'od, Norahu al kol Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato.
Well, I think I might give up and go ahead and light the candles, but we will invite them up for Kiddush if they're able to make it up in time. So I'm just going to go ahead and light them. They're on their. They just came. Ah!
All right.
There she is.
Perfect.
Dorothy and Al.
Excellent.
Well, then I shall continue to
the
wait.
Shabbat bride we have.
As everybody rise and turn to the door. You don't actually have to rise and turn to the door.
Let's have some atmospheric music. Do the candle music, whatever. is our processional. Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful to have you.
Come right on up. We saved the candles for you.
No,
No,
it was
no, no,
wonderful
you're
to have you here. It
fine.
was perfect
We've been
timing.
enjoying some excellent
Who
music.
would like to? Well, let's just make sure that we don't catch on this. There we go. Perfect. Here is a match for you. That side.
Got it.
And will you be singing for us?
There
we
you go.
Perfect. Beautiful. This is a scary part. Yeah, we're perfect. And we sing together. So much suspense. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Amen.
Thank you. Well, we continue our Shabbat service by welcoming Shabbat into this space in the form of the Shabbat bride, whom we used to go out into the hills to greet, and instead we greet the Shabbat bride in this beautiful space. We welcome you to join us for Lecha Dodi, which you can find on page 20.
Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם התפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי באורך קומי אורי 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 שדברי כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. We rise as we are able. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת
As we remain standing in preparation for the Baruch Hu, I encourage everybody to take just a moment to take a deep breath. Just let the week go and enjoy the fact that we are here together in this beautiful sacred space, in sacred community with one another for Shabbat. Looking forward to 25 hours of rest and rejuvenation and whatever it is that we each need. Please join us in the Baruch Hu and praising God on page 28.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yadadai dai dai, 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 yadadai dai dai.
On page 31, praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha-ma'ariv aravim. Please join us in Ahavat Olam on page 32.
Ahavat olam bet Yisrael, amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbenu v'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
I was enjoying witnessing a little freedom that some people were exercising today. As I was coming up from the marina to walk up to the synagogue, I was walking past the house on Steiner, where many of you may be aware that Mrs. Doubtfire was filmed, and there were people taking pictures out front again, and I thought, San Francisco is open. It's really happening now. But in all seriousness, every time we sing Micha Mocha on Shabbat, we get the chance to appreciate freedom, small freedoms to run around our city however we please, larger freedoms to be the people we wish to be in the world. So please join us in celebrating those freedoms with Micha Mocha, which you can find on page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך רע ובניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 יאללה די 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 יאללה די די over us at all times. Please join us in Hashkivenu on page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Frost alenu sukkah shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
The word shalom shares its root with the word shleimut. Peace shares its root with the word for wholeness, because peace and wholeness are so closely intertwined. But we acknowledge every time we come together for Shabbat that not all of us in our community are whole. There are some who are in need of healing, whether that be of mind, body, or spirit. So we ask you to join us on page 253 in singing Mi Sheberach for all those for whom we wish healing. We will pause partway through to read some names.
Mi Sheberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
This Shabbat, we pray for the healing of Shoshana Chana Asher, Ilana Bat Avraham V'Sarah, Shimon Ben Yehudit, Valerie Chazin Benari, Michael Enery, Michael Gaines, Jeff Kiefer, William Kurian, Leonid Landrarenko, Carolyn Reznikoff, Chris Romano, Agnes Rothblatt, Carolyn Olsen-Stellman, and Sam Wiener. And to those names we add the names of all those for whom you wish healing this evening as my hand passes around the room. For all those whom you have named and all those whom we hold in our hearts, we continue with Mi Sheberach.
Mi Sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We now invite you to rise as able as we prepare for the Amidah, the central point of our service. You can find Adonai Sefatai on page 46.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, מצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We now invite you to take a few moments for silent prayer, your own words or the words on the pages of the book. And when you have finished your silent prayer, you are welcome to be seated.
guess that's what happens when you put two Grammy winners together on a song. It's a very tough act to follow. For those of you who are hoping for some rabbinic words of wisdom this evening, I'm sorry, there's just more music. But it'll be a lot of fun, I hope. I thought this evening, for our sermon and song, I wanted to explore some of the music of Ve'ahavta. We know this as a communal chant, right? You know, everyone is very excited about this beautiful moment of Torah trope, but I believe that was only introduced in the middle of last century by a Cantor called Max Wahlberg, but maybe Cantor Feldman knows about that. So we have these beautiful musical settings of Ve'ahavta that used to get a lot of airtime and don't so much anymore because of this chant. So I thought we could explore some of that beautiful repertoire. A few points about the Ve'ahavta. It begins with the Shema, as we all know, which is an excerpt from Deuteronomy chapter 6. There's 3 paragraphs which represent the three themes of faith and Jewish belief, or 3 key beliefs. The first is the Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shemayim, which is a very fancy and very patriarchal way of basically saying the relationship between God and the Jewish people and the acceptance of sovereignty of the Jewish people. The second paragraph, which we don't actually include in our Mishkan Tefillah in Reformed prayer books, is about the Kabbalat Ol Mitzvot, so the acceptance of the yoke, or of the obeyance of commandments. We don't do this because it's got a lot of punitive text. It's very, if you don't do this, God will do this. So that's why the Reform movement decided to take it out. And the third paragraph reinforces the mitzvot of the second paragraph, which we do. It ends with that Leman Tizkaru, right? It actually starts with a paragraph that is in Mishkan Tefillah, Vayomer Adonai. And so it also reminds us of the Exodus of Egypt and the centrality of that narrative to our history. The first setting that we're going to hear is by Isidore Fried, who came from Belarus to the US at the age of 3. He was a prodigious composer, studied with Nadia Boulanger and Ernst Bloch, and he was the head of composition at the Hart School in Connecticut. He was also the head of music at Temple Knesset Yisrael in Philadelphia. He also wrote a key text book from my grad school, harmonizing the Jewish modes, which was probably less fun, but was really invaluable to understanding the structure of Jewish chant and Jewish kind of chant modes. This setting kind of uses the contours of Torah trope, so you'll be able to hear some of the similar melodies from Torah trope coming through, and it's also a beautiful chance for us to showcase the glorious organ, which I'm sure many of you have not heard in a long time. So we're going to hear this beautiful setting of Ve'ahavta by Isidore Fried. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך ביום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושכבך ובקומך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך. והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך. ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני Beautiful piece with a beautiful organist on a beautiful organ. It's really wonderful to hear that instrument in here again. The next setting we are going to hear is by a cantor called Moshe Ganchov. Ganchov was probably the last kind of great master of cantorial arts, I would say. He studied with a lot of the great cantors in Europe of the previous generations and taught at the School of Sacred Music, which became the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music, where I attended. And so he had a huge influence on a lot of my professors. In this setting, Ganchov actually chooses to commence with the end of the second paragraph, right, the one that we don't have, with the words Laman Yirbu. And you will see that later on you'll recognize as he goes into the Laman Tizkeru paragraph. Ganchov was well aware that he was preserving an endangered art form, and he's quoted as saying 2 years before his death, Chazanut, or traditional Eastern European Jewish chant, Chazanut will survive because it is beautiful, and true beauty lives. And after listening to this setting, I hope you'll agree. Laman yirbu yamechem v'nevenechem al ha'adama asher nishba Adonai lavotechem latet lachem כי מהשמיים על הארץ. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותה, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם Leman tizkeru, leman tizkeru, leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai pitam kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem le'Elohim. Beautiful, extensive, expansive piece of Chazanut by Moshe Ganchov. And the final work that we're going to hear is by a contemporary composer called Cantor, Natalie Young. And although it's stylistically completely different and set to actually an English version of the text, Young uses the Shema, right, that first part of the Ve'ahavta, as kind of a musical springboard to a more folk-style recitation of the text. And we learn a lot about the composer's intention through textual repetition. With Ganchov, we had this big Leman Tizkeru. He repeats it 3 times. Don't forget. This is what you need to remember, all the commandments. And with the Natalie Young text, what she chooses to emphasize is the words, and be holy. So you'll notice the piece ends with this beautiful sentiment, and be holy to your God. And so this feeling of holiness in community with each other, reciting the Shema and Ve'ahavta is central to her setting of the Shema and Ve'ahavta. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed Leolam Vaed. And you shall love the one your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates. And you shall remember me and do all of my commandments, and be holy, and be holy, and be holy unto your God, unto your God. Beautiful setting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'm on. Thank you so much, Cantor Glaser, for sharing all of that beautiful music with us. It's easy to just kind of breeze through the Ve'ahavta every time and not think very hard about what the content is, what the themes could be, how we might understand it. So thank you for bringing so much richness to it tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tali, also, and Jonathan for participating in that. Well, we got into a habit over the course of the pandemic as a staff of inviting each other at online staff meetings to share anywhere from 3 to 5 words about how our week went, counting as we went, right? So in that spirit, before we say Shehechianu in honor of all the simchas in the community, I want to invite anybody who's having a simcha to just go ahead and stand up and shout it out, but 5 words. 5 words is the max. So if you've got a simcha that you want to announce and you can creatively describe it in 5 words, please feel free. We know we have one simcha here, which is Hal and Dorothy's 69th anniversary. 5 words. But and you have weathered them very well, both of you. Anybody else have a simcha they'd like to share with us? Yeah, please.
Just celebrated my 93rd birthday.
Mazel tov.
Well,
Don't tell a Cantor to say 5 words only.
Yeah, you're exempt. Happy birthday to you both. That's wonderful to know. Anybody else have a simcha they want to share with the community?
I'm going to embarrass Tali's first gig back. That's 4 words. Anyway, this is Tali's first gig in 15 months, and so we are delighted to have her, and she got married.
Oh,
Please, no,
that's a
up
pretty
to you.
big deal.
5 words. Your 5 words about marriage.
5 words about marriage?
Well, no, give the news.
Yeah, I got married.
Mazel tov.
My husband, I hope he's here. I love you.
There he is.
There he
up
is.
the back.
Well, in honor of these simchas, all of the birthdays in the community, all of the anniversaries, all of the joyous all the joyous occasions, I invite you to please rise as a community and join us in singing Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
And now we invite you to continue standing as we transition into the Aleinu, the prayer in which we remind ourselves of our obligation to work to create a perfected world. Please join us on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. In our Pirkei Avot study group this week, we spoke about prayers that require a minyan, and of course, one of the most sort of visible and well-known prayers that requires a minyan, a group of 10 or more Jewish adults, is the mourner's Kaddish. That is not only because mourners require the support of our community, which they do, but also for the benefit of the community, so that when someone is saying Kaddish, everyone knows that that is taking place, and we can all come together to support one another to the best of our ability. So on these occasions when we come together, it's critical that we recognize those whom we have loved and lost. And we're thinking particularly this evening for Shiva of Arnold Kahn, and for Shloshim of Ruth Kagan, Marcia Grossman, and Joanne May Weiss. If you're observing Shiva or Shloshim for someone whom I have not named, please feel free to stand and share their name with the community. The perpetual memorials in our community are Dr. Elliot Eisenberg and Judith M. Escalante Melvin. And we also observe the following yard sites this Shabbat, anniversaries of death. We remember Dorothy Bernard, Regina Bronig, Mark Chaney, Mersha Garber, Zelda Grabowski, Dr. Robert Jaffe, Wilma Karasik, Ronald Kletter, Jean Eleanor Magnus Massel, Bernard Ottner, Isaiah Scheich Rothblatt, and Joshua Wolken. If you're observing a yard site for someone whom I have not named, please feel free to rise and share their name with us. Now we invite you all to rise together as one community as we join in the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbi, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all of the world. Together we say, Amen. Please be seated. Well, I can't ask Gordon for announcements this evening because Gordon is on some very well-earned vacation. So I will just say briefly that we have Torah study, our second post-pandemic in-person Torah study, tomorrow morning. So please join me at 9:15 if you are vaccinated and able to come. And you can enjoy some Torah and some kamach, Torah and a bagel. And let's see, do you have any announcements you'd like to share? Oh, yes, and of course there's a service tomorrow morning as well.
No,
There is no
next
service.
week.
There's a service next week.
Yes.
Never mind. I apologize. I was wrong.
The 3rd of July, yes.
3rd of July, that's right.
Don't go away, because why would you go away for the 4th of July weekend when you could have services here in the sanctuary? But it should be a lot of fun. It's the morning minyan, and please join us. It'll be a beautiful Torah service. And additionally, thank you so much to Tali. So wonderful to have her here. I'm going to do a silent applause. She'll be joining us again on the 30th of July, so please
wonderful.
mark that in your calendars. We're going to try and have a more emphasis on music Shabbat, because we're always having a musical Shabbat, but a more musical Shabbat on the last Friday of each month. So please join us for those.
Yes.
Thank you so much to Jonathan as well, clearly.
And the service on July 3rd will be at 10:30 a.m., yes?
10:30,
10:30
yes.
a.m. I believe we also have one more person to give announcements. Karen Altschuler would like to make a few announcements on behalf of the Social Action Committee. So please come on up and grab the mic, yeah.
It's so wonderful to be here and see you all together. It's just amazing. Very emotional, I think. I just wanted to make a quick announcement having to do with social action at Sherith Israel. We're at the initiative of the Social Action Committee and the request of Rabbi Graff, we're going to come more often to you and tell you what we're up to. And I have a kind of wonderful announcement. Sometimes we work locally, we work at a state level, we work in communities, but sometimes we go to the federal level. And this week, we were part of a group with Faith in Action, our long-term partners, who put together and wrote a resolution for the Democratic County Central Committee to review, which has to do with federal policy, because between now and the end of this summer, certainly into the fall, a decision is going to be made about whether to support a path to citizenship for immigrants, which of course is something we very much do support. So I was asked to join this group from Faith in Action and see if we could get Senator Wiener to support and sponsor this to the DCCC. And Nancy led me to Todd David, who we've known for a long time, and Todd and Tiffany have been engaged in social action here. And he helped and connected to Senator Wiener, who supported it. And then we gathered a group from Faith in Action, and we went to the DCCC this week. And they were very receptive. In fact, many of them signed on to sponsor it. It will go to the Congress through Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein, and is in support of a goal of all 11 million undocumented human beings who've entered the country who could be supported, with a particular focus on essential, people providing essential services, very broadly defined. And so it sets a bar for what could be done, and we're joining then with Faith in Action congregations and churches and all around the United States who are sending this week this message together. So I was very pleased that it came together and could be done very quickly, and that there was so much support, so that was impressive. Otherwise, we'll be here to talk to you about the many things we're expecting, and we're starting a rollout towards Yom Kippur, which is coming soon, and we'll have, believe it or not, but we'll be having a session in which we're going to be presenting and then getting your thoughts about what are the welcome resources that Shereth Israel provides as a sanctuary congregation, and we have some expansive ideas about that. So thank you for all that time. I'm sorry.
No, it's a lot of exciting stuff to be able to reflect back to the congregation. Thank you, Karen, and Stacy Passman-Lapushin, who's the other co-chair of the Social Action Committee, for doing this incredible work. If you want to get involved and you haven't had a chance to yet, please email Karen. And if you don't have Karen's email address, email me and I'll send you to her. My email address is definitely on the website. So thank you so much. Before we conclude our service, we're going to make Kiddush and Motzi, and for this, I want to invite up our Cantor Emeritus, Cantor Marty Wiener, who is here. Marty Feldman, that was terrible. You know what happened is there was a Wiener on one of the lists here, and I got confused. Marty Feldman, our Cantor Emeritus, who is here this evening. He's not always with us, and it's not always his birthday. So in honor of both of those things, we'd love to invite you to lead us in Kiddush this evening.
You want a sitter?
I need a microphone.
Yeah, well, up to you.
Peter's working on that.
For the Zoomers, yeah.
In case I forget any words, sing along with me.
All right. You want a sitter? No.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho, yava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron v'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher lesiyat Misraim ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim V'shabar kochekla v'yahava uvratzon inekaltonu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
That tastes good.
Oh, good. Thank you very much for that spirited Kiddush.
Thank you so much, Cantor, Feldman. Beautiful
I'm not going
chanting.
to kiss you.
No, it's all right. Well, give me a hug. Beautiful chanting. Thank you so much, Cantor.
And now, if you have a beautiful challah at home, we invite you to try to beam the image of it into our minds, since we can't see it right here, but also, we have our own challah. So
It's a COVID challah. It's COVID safe.
yes,
That's
it's
why we-
COVID safe. This way it can go home with somebody and not have been tainted in any way. So please go ahead and join us in Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz b'te'avon. If you have your challah at home, enjoy it, please, on our behalf. And now we conclude our service with just a little bit more music. I want to add one more thank you to Tali for coming here and joining us this evening. Tali Rubenstein, yes? I wanted to make sure I wasn't sure if you were a Steen or a Stein. And so Tali Rubenstein, who has been so wonderful to join us this evening. And of course, Cantor, Toby, Glaser, and music director Jonathan Dimmock have brought us such beautiful music. So please bring us a little bit more beautiful music before we go out into the world for Shabbat. I believe we will be hearing Ose Shalom, which you can find on page 343.
Absolutely. And please check out Tali's web. Was it talirubenstein.com? A lot of great stuff on there and lots of hopefully upcoming music soon. Ose shalom bimromav, hoya ase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hoya ase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 Ose shalom bimromav, hoya ase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 Shalom bimromav, hoya ase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel,
Thank you so much. And thank you also to Peter Bonos and Zach Migdale and David Balafi, who are all keeping us televised and safe. And please remove your leaflets as you exit the sanctuary. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Beautiful. Great to have you. It was so much fun. Yeah.